In a distant future, Earth is a desolate place, almost forgotten by humanity, which has migrated to the stars in search of new opportunities and resources. The great cities that once flourished now lie in ruins, covered by vegetation and eroded by the passage of time. However, under the majestic and ancient mountains of Europe, a race that many considered extinct has survived in secret, the Dwarves. The Dwarves, famous in legends for their unparalleled skill in forging, mining, and their unyielding pride, have lived for centuries in the depths of the earth, far from the reach of humans and other races. In their isolation, the Dwarves have continued to perfect their technology, merging their ancestral knowledge with the access to modern resources and technology left behind by humanity. Despite their mastery over the arts of engineering and construction, the Dwarves have remained in the shadows, divided into clans and lacking a common purpose to unify them. The story begins with Grimnar, a young but brave leader of the Khazakor clan, one of the oldest and most respected dwarf clans. Grimnar grew up listening to stories about the greatness of his people, about the vast Dwarven empires that once dominated the mountains and the treasures they guarded. But those stories also spoke of the downfall of the Dwarves, of how, due to an unknown disaster, many of their great fortresses were abandoned, and with them, their power and glory. One day, while exploring the ancient archives of his clan, Grimnar discovers references to one of the most legendary of all Dwarven fortresses, Khazakor. According to the texts, Khazakor was not only a bastion of military power but also a center of technological innovation where the Dwarves developed machines and artifacts that surpassed anything known. However, the fortress was abruptly abandoned, and its exact location was lost over time. The reason for its fall has been a mystery shrouded in myths and rumors, but it was said that an unknown evil took over the fortress, forcing the Dwarves to seal it and flee. Intrigued by the possibility of recovering the lost knowledge and technology, Grimnar gathers a group of warriors, engineers, and scholars, all of them experts in the ancient arts of his people. Among them is Eldrick, Grimnar's younger brother, a brilliant engineer known for his curiosity and innovations. Together, they decide to embark on a dangerous but necessary expedition to find Khazakor, reclaim its power, and use it to restore the glory of the dwarf people. As the expedition advances towards the Vargal Mountains, where ancient legends place the fortress, they begin to face unexpected challenges. The outside world, once their home, has become a hostile place. Radioactive storms, creatures mutated by pollution, and remnants of obsolete human technology are just some of the dangers they must confront. Throughout the journey, Eldrick begins to experience disturbing visions. These visions, which seem to be memories or warnings from a forgotten past, show him fragmented images of Khazakor's history, how it was built, how it flourished, and finally, how it fell into darkness. Although he initially dismisses these visions as mere hallucinations, he soon realizes that they may be the key to understanding what really happened in Khazakor and why it was abandoned. Finally, after weeks of arduous travel and numerous dangers, the group reaches their destination, the entrance to Khazakor. The massive steel door, embedded in the rock and decorated with ancient runes that tell stories of power and war, is sealed, seemingly unbreakable. But Eldrick, using his knowledge and the clues from his visions, discovers a hidden mechanism that activates the door's opening. However, in doing so, he also activates a series of traps that had been placed by the ancient dwarves to protect the fortress from intruders. The traps, designed with deadly precision, nearly kill the group, but thanks to the quickness and skill of Grimnar and his companions, they manage to survive. When they finally cross the entrance, what they find is an impressive and desolate sight. the remains of an underground city that was once a marvel of engineering, now in ruins, covered in dust, and in total darkness. The fortress, though grand, seems empty, but the heavy air and the feeling that something ominous lurks in the shadows continue to haunt them. Grimnar and his group know there is no turning back. They have come too far to stop now. The possibility of recovering the treasures and knowledge of Thundrokar is too tempting, but they are also aware that the fortress hides more than just riches. As they advance, Eldric's visions become more intense and revealing, warning him of a danger that goes beyond traps and mechanical guardians, an evil that has been dormant for centuries, waiting to be unleashed. Don't miss out on the best. Subscribe now to my YouTube channel and join this amazing community. Every week, new adventures, tips, and much more await you. Hit the subscribe button and activate the bell to stay always up to date. Let's start with the story. In a distant future, Earth has changed drastically. Humanity has abandoned the planet in search of new horizons among the stars, leaving behind ruined cities and barren lands. However, deep within the mountains of the ancient European continent, a race many believe to be extinct has survived in the shadows, the Dwarves. These beings, known for their skill in forging and mining, have spent centuries in isolation, hidden in their underground fortresses, perfecting their technology and waiting for the right moment to resurface. The story follows Grimnar, a brave and determined dwarf leader, who has heard rumors that one of his people's ancient fortresses, Khazakor, has been rediscovered. This place, once a symbol of Dwarven power, holds technological treasures that could restore the glory of their race. However, Khazakor was abandoned centuries ago due to an unknown disaster and now lies in ruins, filled with deadly traps and mechanical guardians still protecting the secrets left behind. Grimnar, along with his loyal group of dwarf warriors, decides to embark on an expedition to reclaim the fortress. He knows that this could be the first step to rebuilding their civilization and reclaiming their place in the world. But what he doesn't know is that his journey will awaken dark forces that have been asleep for millennia. Grimnar's expedition prepares carefully, taking with them the best weapons and armor forged in the depths of their home, the Durandal fortress. The group, consisting of mining experts, engineers, and warriors, sets out for the Mithrin Mountains, where Khazakor is located. Along the way, they must face the harsh conditions of the outside world, now dominated by radioactive storms and creatures mutated by pollution. During the journey, Eldric, Grimnar's younger brother and a talented engineer, begins experiencing strange visions of Khazakor, as if the fortress itself is calling him. These visions reveal fragments of the lost history of the Dwarves, but also warn him of an impending danger. Eldric shares his concerns with Grimnar, but Grimnar, eager to reach Khazakor, dismisses the warnings as mere dreams. Finally, after weeks of arduous travel, the group reaches the entrance to Khazakor, a massive steel door embedded in the rock, decorated with ancient runes that tell stories of past glories. However, the entrance is sealed and seems unbreakable. Eldric, using his engineering knowledge, discovers a hidden mechanism that opens the door, but in doing so, activates a series of traps that were set to protect the fortress from intruders. The group barely avoids being crushed by the traps, but their determination does not waver. As they cross the entrance, they find themselves in the remains of what was once one of the largest and most advanced underground cities of the Dwarves. However, the place is in ruins, and the darkness is so dense that even their lanterns can't fully penetrate it. As they advance, the feeling that something is wrong intensifies. While exploring the depths of Khazakor, the group encounters ancient mechanical guardians, built by the dwarves of old to protect their secrets. These guardians, inactive for centuries, begin to awaken as the dwarves venture deeper into the fortress. The machines, programmed to defend the city at all costs, attack the intruders mercilessly. Grimnar and his warriors fight valiantly, using their advanced weapons and knowledge of ancient machinery to disable the guardians. However, each battle is more difficult than the last, and the group begins to realize that Khazakor is not just a treasure waiting to be claimed, but a deadly trap designed to destroy anyone who tries to access its secrets. During their exploration, Eldrick discovers an ancient map that reveals the location of the core of Khazakor, a powerful energy source that powered the entire fortress and could be the key to reactivating lost Dwarven technology. However, the map also shows a sealed section of the fortress, marked with runes warning of an evil sealed within. Despite the warnings, Grimnar decides they must access the core to reclaim the power of their people. Eldrick, though concerned, follows his brother, convinced that they can handle any threat they encounter. However, as they approach the core, Eldrick's visions become more intense and begin to reveal fragments of a darker truth. Upon reaching the core, the group discovers a massive chamber filled with advanced machinery and relics from the Dwarven past. In the center of the room, the core of Khazakor glows with unstable energy, powered by technology that the current dwarves can barely comprehend. However, as they attempt to access it, Eldrick has a terrifying vision. The evil sealed within Khazakor is a dark entity, a being of pure malevolence that was locked away by the ancient dwarves, who sacrificed their fortress to prevent the entity from being unleashed upon the world. Eldrick tries to stop Grimnar, but it is too late. As they attempt to reactivate the core, the seal containing the entity begins to weaken, and darkness starts to seep into the fortress. The entity, hungry for power and revenge, begins corrupting the machines and taking control of the remaining guardians, turning the fortress into a living nightmare. The entity unleashes its power, using the ancient Dwarven war machines to attack the group. Grimnar, Eldrick, and their companions find themselves trapped in a desperate battle for their lives as they try to escape the fortress before the entity consumes them. As the battle intensifies, Eldrick realizes that the only way to stop the entity is to sacrifice the core, destroying Khazakor's energy source and sealing the fortress forever. Grimnar, initially reluctant to destroy what he believes is the key to his people's survival, finally accepts that they have no other choice. With great sorrow, he orders his group to prepare to destroy the core, knowing that this will mean the end of their hopes of restoring the glory of the dwarves. As the dwarves fight to hold off the machines corrupted by the entity, Eldrick volunteers to activate the core's self-destruct sequence. He knows this act will kill him, but it is the only way to stop the threat. Grimnar, devastated by his brother's decision, is forced to accept the sacrifice. In his final moments, Eldrick uses his knowledge to overload the core, creating an explosion that will destroy the fortress and seal the entity within it forever. Before the sequence completes, Eldrick sends a final message to his brother, urging him not to lose hope and to keep fighting for the future of the dwarves. With the core about to explode, Grimnar and the survivors of his group struggle to escape Khazakor. The fortress collapses around them as the corrupted machines try to stop them. The core's explosion sends a shockwave through the mountains, sealing the entrance to Khazakor and burying the fortress beneath tons of rock. Grimnar, gravely injured and emotionally devastated, manages to escape with a few survivors. As he looks toward the mountains that now hide the lost fortress, he realizes that his people have suffered a great loss, but have also learned a valuable lesson. The power they sought was not in the ancient technology, but in the unity and strength of their people. Back in Durandal, Grimnar reflects on his brother's sacrifice and the true meaning of his mission. Although Khazakor and its technological treasures have been lost, Grimnar understands that his people still have a future. He decides that instead of trying to restore the glories of the past, the dwarves must focus on building a new world based on cooperation, innovation, and resilience. Grimnar vows to honor Eldric's memory and lead his people toward a new dawn, where the dwarves will not be defined by what they have lost but by what they can achieve. With this newfound purpose, the dwarves of Durandal begin to rebuild their society, using the lessons of the past to forge a brighter and more hopeful future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and comment.